What did you think of The Last Dance, Bob?
I thought it was a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece. I don't know what the quibbles might be, but I've known Jason Hare since he was a young producer at HBO when I was there in the early 2000s. You could tell right then, even when he was just in his mid-20s, that he was going to be something special. And he and his team did a magnificent job with this. It's entertaining. It's compelling. It's not strictly journalistic, but it has elements of journalism. It has elements of history. And I said to him last week, I said, it's a mark, actually, of how impactful this is, that you're going to get the occasional quibble. It's like, and I'm comparing it now to the absolute gold standard, it's like any of Ken Burns' documentaries. Because they're so widely seen and appreciated, and because they're viewed as definitive, you're always going to get some people with a quibble, well, what about this, or why didn't they do that? That's actually a tribute to how widely seen and how widely appreciated it is that everybody weighs in from every direction. And if you get a 95% thumbs up in this world, you're doing great.
Well, I give it 100% thumbs up, but I just meant 95
out of 100 observers. I give it 100% myself.
No,
too,
exactly. But I will raise my hand and say I have a quibble, even though I'm not a quibbler. I just wanted some definitive closure or recounting of the actual nuts and bolts of the dismantling of this team, as opposed to Jerry Reinsdorf giving us some word salad and Jordan seeing it for the first time on his iPad. I just wanted some form of why, when everybody just saw what we just saw, wasn't there one last chance? Was there one last run at it, right? And Jordan saying that he would have. Was that surprising to you, having covered the team for that last dance, to hear Jordan saying, I'd run it back one more time if I could convince Scotty?
I guess mildly surprising. We knew throughout that season that it was overwhelmingly likely that this was, in fact, the last dance. And it wasn't just in Game 6, the clinching game in Salt Lake City, but at various times throughout the season, we alluded to it. They played a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers, who gave them a very tough time. And actually, the Pacers led 19-7 early in Game 7 on Chicago's home floor. So our entire opening for that game was, this might be the last dance on their dance floor. This is where it could end, right here. So that was a narrative thread that ran through the entire season. And I understand Michael's competitiveness. He has the right to have any feeling he wants. He'd like to come back for 7 to 8, whatever it was. But I really think that the legend of all this is enhanced. Both the Bulls legend and Michael Jordan's legend is enhanced by it ending the way it did. First of all, even if they won another title, or even 2 more, it's hard to imagine a scenario any more dramatic, theatrical, and classic than what happened in Game 6 in Salt Lake City. Plus, when you get that element of what might have been, that sort of what might have been thing is an element that runs through great literature, great sports stories. It adds texture to the story. And then also remember, 1999 was a lockout season. It was a half season. Might not have felt as fulsome as the first 6. And if you go beyond that, they run into Kobe and Shaq, the first of their 3 in a row in 2000. So at some point, no matter how great they were and no matter how great he was, the last image was going to be, unless it ended the way it did, was going to be Michael Jordan walking off the floor at some point in defeat. Isn't this better? And I realized that he came back 3 years later with the Wizards, but that is a complete footnote. And the last image in the public imagination is that last shot in Salt Lake City.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.